What up, YouTube? Knowledge is self-determination. Back at you guys with I wanted to talk about the symbolism thing again. The first video that I put out today was about Confederate symbolism, and I want to go back over that particular topic because it is important. It is very important. Symbols guide our lives. You know, the symbolism of slavery, the constant reminders of who and what we are, or were rather, or what white supremacists consider us to be, is humiliating and it is demoralizing. For any black person who doesn't understand that, then you don't understand the purpose of the symbols in the first place. You don't understand history, and you don't understand why those things are around as a constant reminder of what we are not. And what they're trying to tell us is that we're not equal to them. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, think about it. You know, there aren't any I'm sure people probably would have had the Jewish community, you know, not been so adamant at fighting against people looking down on them. But there aren't any as far as I know. Now, I know that there are Holocaust museums and things like that because there's one in Baltimore, right downtown Baltimore by the harbor. And I'm sure there's one in a number of other states as well, in cities. But this is my thing. You see, because they band together and they basically made it illegal to have any negative symbols or stereotypes of their culture or their race. I'm not going to get into the whole argument of it being a race versus a religion. For the sake of this conversation, is for their race. They band together because they were determined not to allow people to treat them that way ever again in history. You know, nobody complains or embarrasses themselves by, you know, paying homage and tribute to Holocaust monuments. You know, neo-Nazis aren't out here, you know, worshiping. Well, you know what? They probably are actually. In all honesty, they probably are out here worshiping anti-Semitic paraphernalia and things like that. But where in America do you find anti-Semitic statues that have been erected, you know, are in long standing since the end of World War II? Why should my people be subject to constant reminders of how we are always treated in this country? Because again, how can our people heal if the vestiges of the past are not torn down? First off, you know, in most schools, they don't even teach you about slavery. They don't teach you, they don't get in depth on the whole system of slavery, you know, so that you can see it for what it was. They gloss over it. You understand? The curriculum glosses over it. They don't want you to actually have dialogue with the kids about slavery and why it was inhumane and barbaric. They don't ever want to do that. You know, they don't want to talk about the symbolism of the United States flag and what it may actually mean to black people. Because, you know, just like the Confederate flag, the American flag is a symbol of oppression for black people also. And this is why I say that it's a symbol of oppression for black people. It is a symbol of oppression for black people because when America fought for its independence, and I forget the exact year, it was the 1700s, I believe. When America fought for its independence during the Revolutionary War, guess who didn't gain their independence and their freedom? Africans. We weren't free. We weren't independent. We didn't gain our independence from anybody. So why would we celebrate the flag that you use to symbolize your freedom from British rule, British colonial rule? Why would we celebrate that flag with you? That's the question. Why would we celebrate that flag with you? Because that flag is a symbol of how we are not free. The Confederate flag was a symbol of our enslavement. The American flag is a symbol of our continued ensnarement in this trap that they call American society. Everything about America is a constant reminder of how we are not equal or considered equal in this country. Everything. I mean, for instance, one one statue is I cannot remember the guy's name. I can't even remember the state in which it's in. Maybe you guys would know. But the gentleman who was the judge presiding over the Dred Scott ruling. There's a statue dedicated to this guy. I think it's in Boston. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a statue dedicated to this guy. And if you don't know, the Dred Scott ruling, basically what was said in that was that a black man has no rights that a white man has to respect. The symbol of that guy immortalized via statue. His image is immortalized because of that statue and everything that he represents. He was pro-slavery. He fought against ending slavery. You understand what I'm saying? This is why symbols mean something. And this is why tearing down those old, if we are a post-racial society, why do we have constant reminders of the enslavement of one group of people spread all across the country and celebrate it? If you are truly against white supremacy, racism, and truly against slavery and injustice and inequality, why would you cheer for individuals who were pro those very things? Like Donald Trump asked, should we tear down statues of George Washington? Did George Washington own slaves? Then fuck yeah. Thomas Jefferson, for instance. Look, I mean, George Washington symbolizes, one of the founding fathers of America. That is what his persona symbolizes. The founding of a new country, a new way of living, right? Thomas Jefferson, the brilliant man, very intelligent man. And he is respected in American society as such, as a very intelligent man, a brilliant man, highly respected. But when I hear people, even secular white people who do not claim or want any part of being a white supremacist, I hear them tell the version of the truth that they want to remember Thomas Jefferson by. But the symbol of Thomas Jefferson for black people, especially Sally Hemings and Sally Hemings' descendants, is a slave-owning pedophile, a rapist, among other things. Yes, he was brilliant, but he was those other things also. He was also those other things. When they talk about black people in history, for the most part, they don't shine a positive light on us. When you look, if you find a social studies book in a school in America and it talks about Malcolm X, you let me know if it sheds a positive light on who Malcolm X really was and what he meant to his people. Symbols, but yet Malcolm X was a symbol of strength, of intelligence, of courage, of honor, of respect for black people. But to white people, he is a symbol of radical Islam, a traitor, a terrorist, so on and so forth. When all this man wanted was for his people to be left alone and to not be continued to be mistreated. See, symbols do mean something. The things that people do in their lives can hold as testimony and symbols to the life that they've lived. Symbols mean something. And tearing down symbols that have a negative effect on people, they also mean something as well.